Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, my name is Nur Shakila binti Muhammad Anif and I'm from 5 Actress. Today, I will talk about health issue related to human nervous system. I will share to you 3 diseases related to human nervous system, which is first, Alzheimer's disease, second, brain paralysis, and third, attention deficit hyperactive disorder or ADHD. What is Alzheimer's disease? Alzheimer's disease is an irreversible, progressive brain disorder that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills and eventually the ability to carry out the simplest tasks. In Alzheimer's disease, as neurons are injured and die throughout the brain, connections between networks of neurons may break down and many brain regions begin to shrink. By the final stage of Alzheimer's, this process are called brain atrophy, is widespread, causing significant loss of brain volume. What are the causes of Alzheimer's disease? Alzheimer's disease is thought to be caused by the abnormal buildup of proteins in and around brain cells. One of the proteins involved is called amyloid, the deposit of which form plaques around brain cells. The other protein is called tau, deposits of which form tangles within brain cells. Now, we have known some information about the Alzheimer's disease, but how to treat Alzheimer's disease? While there is no cure for Alzheimer's disease or a way to stop or slow its progression, there are drugs and no-drug options that may help treat symptoms. Understanding available options can help individuals living with the disease and their caregivers to cope with symptoms and improve quality of life.
For the second disease, which is brain paralysis, it refers to a group of disorders that affect muscle movement and coordination. In many cases, vision, hearing, and sensation are also affected.
Actually, cerebral means having to do with the brain. Palsy means weakness or problems with using the muscles. But what happened to the brain of the patient of cerebral palsy? Cerebral palsy affects the motor area of the brain's outer layer called the cerebral cortex, the part of the brain that directs muscle movement. In some cases, the cerebral motor cortex hasn't developed normally during fetal growth. Cerebral palsy is caused by a problem with the brain that happens before, during, or soon after birth. The brain can either be damaged or not develop normally, although the exact cause is not always clear. Problems before birth. Cerebral palsy is usually caused by a problem that affects the development of a baby's brain while it's growing in the womb. This includes damage to part of the brain called white matter, possibly as a result of a reduced blood or oxygen supply, an infection caused by the mother, a stroke where there's bleeding in the baby's brain or the blood supply to their brain is cut off, or an injury to the unborn baby's head. What can we do to treat this disease? The goal of treatment is to improve limitation and prevent complication. Treatment may include assistive aids such as eyeglasses and hearing aids, medication, and surgery. Last but not least, we are going to talk about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or ADHD. Actually, ADHD is one of the most common neurodevelopmental disorders of childhood. It is usually first diagnosed in childhood and often lasts into adulthood. Children with ADHD may have trouble paying attention, controlling impulsive behaviors, may act without thinking about what the result will be, or be overly active. What happens to the brain of ADHD patient? Certain parts of the brain may be less active or smaller in children with ADHD than those without the disorder. The brain chemical dopamine, which carries signals between nerves in the brain and is linked to movement, sleep, mood, attention, and learning, may also play a role.
Genetics plays an important role in the cause of ADHD, but Eating too much sweet, watching too much television, or parenting is not the cause. It can be also caused by the brain injury, drinking too much alcohol, and low weight of the baby.
I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.